Okay, as I said in my previous video, for printing and making any form of physical merch that requires you to use a printer, Procreate is complete cheeks. Why is that? Well, because Procreate is a raster-based program. So the more you move in, the more you can see that Procreate uses pixels to make everything. So if you have to resize anything, it's gonna eventually end up looking blurry and not as high quality as you would like if you have to resize it bigger. However, it is not impossible to do it in Procreate. You just need to make sure you do it right. Starting all the way from when you make your canvas. Now, for most manufacturers and different printing companies, they will probably have slightly different sets when it comes to sizes that they want for the canvas, but bigger is always better. General rule of thumb is it's easier to scale it downwards than it is to scale it upwards when it comes to raster. The second most important, and maybe sometimes the most important, is your DPI, your dots per inch. The standard for DPI is 300. I like to keep mine super high quality, which is 900. And lastly, if you want to move anything or scale it up or down in Procreate, typically you want to try and do this during your sketch phase as much as possible. But if you absolutely have to in your final stages, go to transform, go over where it says bicubic, and then keep it at bicubic. Now, this solution is best used for if you have to rotate something in Procreate or scale it slightly smaller, because once again, it's not going to stop the fact that you are using raster art. So eventually, the higher you scale it up, the blurrier it's still going to look. No matter what you do, the quality is slowly going to start becoming more blurry the higher you go up. You can scale it down with less of an issue. As you can see, it starts to look a lot clearer the more you scale it down. And if you rotate it, you should be able to keep your quality. Unfortunately, this is also dependent on the types of brushes you use and how many times you've already moved this object before, which is why it's more preferable to use a vector-based program when it comes to making prints, especially if you're like me and you are a perfectionist, where even till the end, you are still editing and adjusting things. However, if you don't mind having to adjust everything and then just going back over and line arting again, then Procreate should not be too much of an issue for you. It just makes the process a little bit more tedious.